One. Hello and welcome to Beaumont's Bodacious broadcast. This newscast is brought to you by Independence High School. Today we will be discussing the revolutionary piece of technology called the steam locomotive. In 1830, the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad's Tom Thumb, designed by Peter Cooper, was the first commercial U.S.-built locomotive to run in America. The purpose of it was to show the potential of the power of steam, not for profit. The steam locomotive is basically a steam engine on rails. It is powered by coal to heat water and create steam. And now we have Skylar on the scene.
Good afternoon. Before we discuss with the experts, let's ask, what is a steam locomotive? Well, the word stands for vapor, fume, water in a gaseous state, and the word locomotive originates from the Latin word loco, from a place, and the medieval Latin word motivus, causing motion. The name steam locomotive therefore means causing motion from liquid in a gaseous state. People would travel on horsebacks, wagons, rivers, later turning to steamboats and turnpikes. Railroads would then take over, and land transportation would almost entirely, later down the line, be taken over by these railroads and locomotives. And now, to the experts.
The boiler in the engine produces gas and increase in volume by 1,700 times. In a steam engine, hot steam usually supplied by a boiler expands under pressure, and part of the heat energy is converted into work. As the steam expands, it pushes the piston, which usually connects to a crank on a flywheel to produce rotary motion. Improved land transportation immensely. Great efficiency allowed the larger distance products could travel. Ability to hold other train carts let more items to be transported at once. Previously impossible terrain to traverse could be traveled via railroad with some effort. Before the Industrial Revolution, transportation mainly consisted of walking, boats, and animals like horses. Agriculture, it would help them transport crops faster for healthy food. Manufacturing, help them get more resources quickly. Transportation made it safer and faster.
Hello. Okay, so who would this benefit? So people who ship resources or live away from their workplace. It helped them travel to their workplace faster and allowed people to travel faster, more safely than before. People who didn't live their workplaces could get there more safely and faster. And horse-drawn transportation used to have an issue with being robbed. And it's difficult to rob a train. Companies boosted their revenues by hiring some skilled workers, and it also increased progression of business. The steam locomotive was invented in the 1830s by George Stephenson and his son. One of the first railways to develop the idea and test it out was Stockton and Darlingston Railway, which opened in 1825. In 1830, the Liverpool and Manchester Railway was the first to have a fully scheduled running. The purpose of the steam locomotive was to haul railroad cars on tracks, protected goods from being stolen, increased profit, travel longer, and brought down the cost of freight transportation. And now back to Skylar.
A bit on George Stephenson. He first made the Bletcher after a Prussian general, which was able to carry 30 tons of coal at 4 miles per hour. The inspiration came after seeing a steam boiler on wheels, which was made for coal mines, and he thought he could make something better. He was not satisfied with the original results of the Bletcher, though, so he added the steam blast, which sent exhaust steam up a chimney. This would make the locomotive practical. He would go on to work with many other collieries to create more locomotives and have their use become widespread. Three main companies that dominated the steam locomotive industry were the American Locomotive Company, which was formed in 1901 as a joint effort between smaller locomotive builders and Schenectady Locomotive Works, who sought to compete against Baldwin Locomotive Works, or BLW for short. BLW was founded in 1831 by Matthias Baldwin and bought by Westinghouse Corporation in 1948, and lastly, Lima Locomotive Works, which was originally established in 1869 and produced agricultural and sawmill equipment, eventually specializing in exclusively locomotives by 1912. Baldwin and Lima eventually merged into the Baldwin-Lima-Hamilton Corporation in an effort to keep up with the diesel market. The first locomotive used wood as fuel. Later models would start using coal and oil instead. The downside of the steam locomotive, though, was its major pollution and its poor living conditions, which would lead to the switch of diesel as fuel in the 1930s to the 60s. That's enough for me. Let's see a walkthrough and demonstration of the steam engine from our tech expert. and special guest, Mr. Stone.
Okay, so here we have a steam engine, and as coal gets put into the boiler, it boils the water inside and makes a steam, and the steam travels through the piston, which makes the piston move in one direction and spins the wheel.
All aboard!
With the commercial implementation of the steam engine, locomotives' revolutionary inventions changed the face of transportation forever. People were able to travel and transport goods faster than ever before. This was one of the factors of urbanization, which in turn gave rise to the Industrial Revolution. This was brought to you by Thomas and Friends. Thank you for listening.